Hello Dino Navy, my name is Siron, and welcome to today's off-topic video, the Psyb0i Dino&CreepY lore, the story so far. And one thing I wanted to tell you right now is, originally I was going to do the part 2 and 3 for the first installment, but then I realized, well, it's very unstable. Like, I was just recording, this is a retake. It's like I don't know anything about it actually. Like even the first one, which isn't technically complete, even the first part, at least I had a lot of everything, But the second part and the third part, I mean, I have ideas, and also on top of that, I'm pretty sure I did explain a lot of it in a video. I forgot which video, but it is on my channel, so if you want to find it, you can. So instead, what we're going to be talking about is Dhixit and the Docks. This is taking place in the very next year. What I was doing is that they take place in the next year, and the 3 parts to the thing, it's 2020 or 2073. And then the third part would be in 2074, just before the Psyb0i games. So like just before, so in the early months of 2074 would be the third part to the Planet 7675Y, and then after that would be the Psyb0i games. That's how Siron ended up dead, so that's, yeah. So, anyway, we're going to be talking about Dhixit and the Docks. So, it starts out with Dhixit, and Silas, and Tenna. Tenna being the mom, or now single mother, of Silas and Dhixit. So, Silas is asking, to see a picture of the planet they're going to. And it's not said for actually quite a while. I don't remember, but it is Earth, alright? And why are they moving here? Well, once again, I don't think it's ever specifically addressed, but what it is, the reason they're moving to Earth is because their planet was overtaken by Doxes. And I did explain in the first thing why Doxes are here. And even though they've been around since the 1400s, I mean, to take out an entire universe, obviously, not a great, yeah. So, they're just, so they're moving to Earth, and there's a whole thing. So basically, it introduces, like, Silas and everything, and they're going, and it's around lunchtime for them, and what they're gonna have to do. So they're gonna go to lunch in the cafeteria, and Tenna's like, all right, well, why don't you just go on ahead of us, and we'll catch up. So he's going there, all right, and so he's like super cold in the hallways, towards the cafeteria, and he hears, so he's like, why is it so cold in the hallway? And he hears someone saying, to keep us out, or something. I don't know. It's like a deep British voice. To keep us out. Okay. I have done things to explain why. In fact, I made a Dhixit in the Docks analog horror, which I don't know if I'll do another one, but I did do a pretty close, accurate impression or whatever on what the voice would sound like. So that's fine. Also, I just realized it's terrible because what I realized in the protagonist in there, who's like Samuel Cunningham or whatever, he like goes outside. He's acting all scared to go outside, but he opens the door several times and nothing happens. And it's just like, I'm so confused. I mean, yeah, okay. So he's like, what the heck, what is that? And he turns around, he sees nothing. And then he sees the tail. He's like, what? It's a stinger, actually. He's like, a stinger of a scorpion. It's like really massive. I mean, I keep saying massive, and I'm like, my subconscious, my voice says massive, and my subconscious goes, you know what else is massive? No, I know what else is massive, and I don't want you to tell me. Anyway, and then he's like, he pulls back, he's like, no spoilers. Oh my god, I'm British for some stupid reason. Okay, and, okay, he's like, whoa, that's weird. And then Tenna and Silas catch up to him, and she's like, oh, I thought you were being a friend. I thought you were at the cafeteria with your friends. And then there was the confrontation about wanting to have gone to Borealis with his friends. His friends will definitely not be addressed because they're not given a name. Just his friends, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no. And there's the whole thing of his Uncle Zeno. I don't think we're going to do anything with him either. He does have an uncle, though. Yeah, so eventually they get to cafeteria. There's the whole thing with the line. You know, someone cuts in front of him. He gets a little upset. He's like, hey, you just cut in front of me and cut in front of my brother. Like, what the heck? That was uncalled letting more than listening getting I card or I card not since. Was still I guess no what cox stop. Was not distract. That dragged on for a bit too long. That dragged on for one too many seconds. Alright. So yeah, eventually they end up going back to the room. Alright, they go to sleep. And actually, there's a huge time, it's like a whole nother month later. I think it was like, in August. First it's like July or something. And then it's jump cut to August. And it's like 3:40 something in the morning. And then there's the speaker lady blasting over, like, we are approaching Earth. You know, pack up your bags, pack up your stuff. We're about to land and stuff. So, obviously, they're all confuzzled. They're getting up. They're like, what the heck? So they're getting up, and they're getting ready to go. And then when they eventually land, which I originally intended for a scene, instead of them already having known, Earth already having known that they were coming, and they were prepared, it was originally be, they land on Earth, and they meet up with people on Earth, because, all the humans are, like, gathered around as the Traveler, which is the name of their ship, lands, and then the Emperor, or Empress, Ursula, which is her name, and I don't think I ever said that. My name is Ursula. I am the Empress of the Zeodes. We have been forced out of our planet, Australis. But that never happened. It ended up being, that they already knew and they were coming along. Which I guess it makes sense. I mean, you're not gonna, if you didn't know the Zeodes were coming, would you let them live on your planet? If they just showed up, you're like, yeah, we're, our planet's doing a little infestation there, you know? We're just gonna move in, settle in for, like, forever. Yeah, it's pretty. So obviously they knew, which is, thank God I did that. So, and eventually he's like, there's the whole thing. I think if you would just watch Dhixit in the Docks, you would know. And he's like bungee cord or something, because like it's cheaper or something. And he sees Chromos in the crowd, but obviously it's not very noted. And yeah. So eventually it jumps cuts to I don't wait, where did it was somewhere here. I think it was Was it in school? I think he was in school the next day. Here, we can check. Okay, so yeah, eventually they move into a house, and they're going to school. And it doesn't talk about Silas too much. This is Silas. He's like short, because he's the only real child character, like below 10 years old. He's like 7, so yeah, obviously he's going to be short. So anyway, so they're moving into the house, and they're at school. It's the whole interaction, being introduced to the class, you know. I think he's like 17, so this is actually his senior year. Oh, he would have been able to finish school. Anyway, so I forgot. He gets introduced to class, and then he sits down, and then there's what's his face. He goes unnamed, but he is a human, and he's acting all crazy. And that's one of the things I want to read you my creative interpretation and how it was supposed to be, because I don't remember if I actually told you. So yeah. So this is Coach Owens. Also, I don't know if I said this, but these are references to my actual teachers. Okay, so Coach Owens morning. Okay. Alright. Here, pick a seat. We're about to start. Alright, and Dhixit sat down and instantaneously started quite literally judging a book by its cover. So, where are you from? Australis. Well, I know that's silly. What faction? Dhixit gave a quick side eye. A4. That's great. I remember people from A4. His eye detached from his... his eye detached and started to wander. Bro, what is he doing in the background? Okay. And he started drooling. How do you remember people from A4 if you're human? Dhixit questioned. The guy wiped the drool off. Or maybe I don't. Or do I? He looked off to the left and up, smiled, then put his finger to his chin. His eye drifted again. What have you been smoking? Nothing. That was just... He turned his head to face Dhixit, but his eyes were still not focused. Thinking about... Zealds. He started drooling again. Then Dhixit saw it. Just beneath his skin. Yeah, there we go. And then... Because obviously that's the docs. He was controlled by the docs. And the reason he started drooling... I mean... If the docs... not only consumes your soul, but also eats. He also eats, eats your flesh. He basically just eats you, yeah. I mean, he's probably gonna have a taste for you, you know, for anything humanoid. Anything humanoid being, like, any of the intelligent creatures that have souls. So, like, any of the Zealds, the Centaurians, the Avis Populo, that kind of nature, you know. So yeah, obviously he's gonna be like that. Also, I don't know if I explained this in the first part of the story so far, but okay, so when they consume you, your soul is trapped inside of its eyes until the cleanse is over, and then they bring you up to heaven. And then they do a little World War II action kind of going on. But with actual destruction of your soul, basically death. No, nothing. Like, experience nothing. It is you are gone. Memory erased. Alright, that kind of... Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So, eventually he starts... I think, yeah, so it goes, so basically he goes back home, has a little interaction with Tenna, who's making steak. That's interesting. I'm just following the instructions though. Yeah. And then he goes back. It's back at school again, but this time, what's his face? Dun, dun, dun. I think his name was Bruce. I don't remember. Oh yeah. Okay. So Brayden was Silas's bully, and then Bruce was freaking weird name, Bruce. You know, Bruce. Like he kind of sounds like the type of person who would like get his parents killed in front of him, and then be raised by his butler, and then become a giant, like a freaking furry that kills a clown, or attempts to kill a clown, but fails miserably every single time. Oh my gosh. That's what's wrong with me. Anyway, we're starting off. So he's basically a whole interaction. Basically talking about his dad, who is also Dhixit. He was named after his dad, who happened to be killed by the very same docs right here, Ceruleus. I have a name, you know, not an animal. Celestia Lucidus. So, yeah. So it's a very sensitive topic, despite it happening 10 years ago. You know, when Dhixit himself was 7, and when Silas was barely born. Actually, wait, no, it was 7 years ago, and Dhixit was 10. Sorry. Goofy me. Okay, where was I? Actually, so basically, eventually, I was originally planning that it would be he storms out, but, like, where would he go? Like, what? Yeah, so, the lunch bell rang, or he uses the static voice, and that basically deafens him for a couple hours after, you know? But anyway, so he's at lunch, and then Chromos makes an appearance. He's like, oh, he recognizes him from the crowd earlier, you know? So he's like, oh, I just realized there was this plot hole that I want to change, and I'm not going to change the actual story, how it goes, because I don't know what could happen, but it says, he's like, I want to bring him back, or I think I can help you bring him back, Chromos says. And I want to change that into, like, I want to help you get revenge or something, because I don't know. And then he's acting like he didn't even know that the Ceruleus was on Earth, which, I mean, yeah, it's a little messy there on how he should have ended up convincing Dhixit to go with him into the library. But he ends up going, so he ends up going to the library. Alright, he eventually finds him in a little alcove of shelves. Alright, and they start talking about the docs, and he shows him pictures, and he's like, I've been doing some looking into some research, and I think he's on here. And he realizes. So he shows Dhixit the pictures. No one has ever seen the docs, or like everybody. Yeah, it's weird. Confusing, because they realize. Okay, wait. So Chromos knows. Okay, so I had to make an explanation, which would be, that people from A4, so it would be like another small town that nobody knows. So A4 would be a small section on Australis. So yeah, not necessarily small as in like that, but like a little bit disconnected as in like updates, you know. So he's like, okay, wait a second, it's on Earth. He's like, what? He's like, we have to kill it. That thing? We're gonna kill that thing. And so eventually they make a plan. They're like, liquid nitrogen. And they're like, okay, it was at this point that I forgot what exactly happened, so we can go back. This is why we have this, thank God. Alright, yeah, you swore side docs, right? You are the chosen one. Okay, sorry. I couldn't resist. Dhixit, you have the ability to see beyond. Sorry. I just can't. You have what is called dilate sight. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to realize that there's a lot of creative interpretation that I have, but obviously no one also did a read it yourself, which I don't know if I'll be able to I'll do with the Avis Haven. It's like so you can see the text as it's being read aloud instead of yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's on Earth. So yeah, they decide on liquid nitrogen. So they plan on where they're gonna go. It's a little, yeah, so what they plan on is Chromos is invisible, and he follows Dhixit around while he looks subtly as he goes through his day looking for the stocks, which is actually a terrible plan, but it does end up changing. So what's wrong with them? Basically, the interaction of how weird Silas was acting. Like, what the heck? Basically, Brayden, which is Silas's bully, basically comes up. He's like, you look a little hungry or whatever. You can see the interaction right here. Yeah, you look a little hungry. Do I? Do I? Yeah, you do. You want a sandwich? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. A knuckle sandwich. It's so bad. But then you gotta remember he's like second grade, so of course it's bad. So basically, he wipes the blood off his face, all right, and he licks it. He licks it. He places the blood off of his hand. He's like, okay, whoa, never mind. You're weird. So he backs off, and then Dhixit's brother. And then this is the part where he confronts Chromos. He's like, alright, you know what? This is not working. So they come up with a new plan. They're gonna get the docs kit. Whoa, he called it a docs kit. Whoa, there's a thing called a docs kit. Oh my gosh, I cannot breathe. Yeah, we can detect and lure them. Yeah, that's it's kind of BS. There was no such thing as a docs kit. It was just that. But anyway, he was gonna go and get it. That thing is gonna spread like. Wait. Okay. However, it takes a long time to ship. How long? Yes. Chromos' voice grew quieter as he spoke. A month, maybe. A month? Do we even have a month? That thing is gonna spread like wildfire. I know, but all we can do is wait. Oh, I forgot to add a freaking quotation there. I know, but all we can do is wait. There is no option. Fine, but if we have to flee the planet again, but this time with the humans, I don't even know. Yeah, so there we go. So he's going there. Eventually, it's here, and he's like, they basically lied to Tenna about the party. Alright, party time, wow. Yeah, they're going to a replica of Fetty Fabber pizza, because, you know, of course you gotta slip in a FNAF reference. Actually, I didn't do that with the other two, I don't know. Yeah, so basically they're just driving there, and they're setting up the thing, and eventually the lights go out. And then Silas is like, Dhixit, I want to show you something. and I'm pretty sure you can imagine what's going on there. Things are happening with Silas. He's acting weird, and then he wants to lure him into a thing. I found a dox. And he just rips out the thing. He does that. And then there's the 3 different endings. And I'm not saying that this thing is connected with a multiverse. It'd be a bit weird. So what I'm doing, there's 2 routes that the multiverse can go. Either there's not infinitely many universes, but there are more than one, or there are infinitely many, and just space in between those universes would be something, I don't know. But basically, these would be different universes either way. So there's the bad ending. Okay, so basically, true ending is Psyb0i consumes Dhixit. Bad ending is he super slide. Oh, wait a second. He commits super slide, or like he unalives himself. Actually, he kills himself. You know what? I don't get why people say unaliving. It's a bit interesting. Like, kill isn't... It's a bad action, yes, but it's kind of like the word hell. It's a bad place, and you definitely wouldn't want to be there, but it's not necessarily a bad word. It's like saying, like any old thing, oh, the ocean. The ocean's a bad word because it's a bad place. Oh my god, like say hypothetically the ocean is a bad place. And then you say ocean. Like, what the ocean? All of a sudden, oh my gosh, that's a bad word. See, that doesn't make any sense. So, just because that's what it's called, and just because it happens to be a bad thing, doesn't mean that its name is bad. Now, it doesn't mean you want to go around saying it all the time, but yeah, it's like, yeah, it's okay. Basically, he ends up killing himself. That's the bad ending. And then the good ending is where Chromos comes along and basically destroys Psyb0i. And that's the end of Dhixit and the Docs. And I remember this one thing right here in the bad ending, which was attention all viewers, this is not a test. This is a warning issued by the United States government. Earth has received a massive infestation of doxes. The Zeolds have brought them onto our planet. We have lost 57% of the world population. Please follow these rules. This is for your safety. Do not go outside. Do not let them see you. Keep liquid nitrogen or anything cold around you at all times. Do not look for anyone who may be outside. Do not answer the door. They are not who you think they are. Evacuation squads will escort you and all in your homes to the ships. May God help us all. Earth is no longer habitable. The Zeolds have brought them onto our planet. Earth is no longer habitable. Saying it exactly how because that's what is featured at the beginning of Dhixit and the Docs Analog Horror. Because that's kind of what it would look like. And honestly, I've been wanting to do that ever since I released Dhixit and the Docs, and I made it reality. Anyway, that is the entirety of Dhixit and the Docs. And I don't know if I ever said anything. Okay, I'm gonna sum up now that this is done, and we still have a little bit more time. I'm going to sum up the entire second part of Planet 7675Y and the entire part of the third part of 7675Y. Alright, in like a couple sentences. Alright, ready? Where is Raptimov? Train, Dino Navy, found it. Found Raptimov in a cave. The place where we were all the time. And then I need a job. Where's Draco? Oh my gosh. I'm I'm in the palace. I'm in where freaking oh my gosh. Where the three are. Oh my gosh, I'm working for the three. I'm working specifically for the emerald. Oh my gosh. What the heck? You were using freaking Psyb0i for a machine that travels between different realities, and you brought William Afton himself from the FNAF universe just to teach you how to make a spring lock, and then you're spring locking your own freaking employees. Alpha Nightmas comes along, dead, sacrifices himself to destroy the waking pit. Done. Yeah, that's pretty much. Which that whole thing, that wasn't actually a joke. That was supposed to be what they do, which would be explained by the multiple universes. And actually, I want to go with, there's a certain amount, like 100 or something, 100 universes that have to do with, yeah. So, like, there's multiple universes that can be different endings, and that can be universes like other IP, like FNAF, or the universe we live in is a canonical universe within this world, because that obviously makes sense. I mean, we know our universe exists, because, you know. So, yeah, that'd be the whole thing. And then, in the next part of the story so far, the Psyb0i games. So, yeah, see you later down on EV.